That's true. Listen up. I know firsthand how limited a vessel's medical insurance can be. This is why you need reliable medical coverage. Moore Dixon offers comprehensive global insurance tailored for yachties, covering everything from emergencies to routine checkups with flexible options and a single point of contact. Moore Dixon has been voted best health and medical insurance by captains and crew, including myself. Don't wait until the unexpected happens. Get covered today. Visit mdbl.im or email them at inquiries@mdbl.im for a free quote. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects every single one of us working on yachts: spine health, injury prevention, and how to keep our bodies strong and pain-free in such a physical demanding industry. Joining me is Hesham Abdel-Salam, the expert owner and founder of TheraCave in Fort Lauderdale, a revolutionary, and I don't say this lightly, approach to physical therapy that focuses on one-on-one driven rehabilitation. If you ever ended a charter with an aching back, stiff shoulders, or nagging pain, I mean, who hasn't, right? This episode is for you. So let's get into it, because taking care of your body isn't just about feeling good now. It's about protecting your career for the long run. So welcome, Hesham, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction and the kind words. And I can't wait to, have a nice discussion with you.
So tell us about your experience with complex injuries and how that led you to specialize in serving high demand, niche professions like the yachting industry.
So a little bit of my background. I'm a physical therapist, and I worked in so many different settings. And I realized the insurance-based setting is always limiting the amount of time we spend with the patient. And it has so many restrictions, like the body parts that we can work on, the allowed time. It wasn't good experience overall. It actually made me hate physical therapy a little bit, because I'm just basically signing notes and getting paid, but I'm not really helping people. So I always wanted to open my practice that I can be specialized in one-on-one and treat patients in a comprehensive way. So if we're treating back, why not also address the neck issue? Because it's still we're treating the spine, versus when it's restricted by insurance regulations that kind of does not let us treat the patient as in a wholesome way, in a functional way. That led us to start seeing some patients from yacht industry, and I have to commend a lot of people who work in the yacht industry, crew and captains. They do have a lot of knowledge about physical therapy. Not all, but some have much more than even locals. And they look for someone who can deliver manual therapy, dry needling, and one-on-one. And then slowly but surely, we're starting seeing more and more from the yacht industry. And we learn from them how what happens to their bodies, during the job, and also common injuries that they get exposed to. People expect physical therapy to be some mundane rubber band exercises, or just not so much supervision, not so much hands-on treatments, and because of maybe bad experience they had before. And I would say our practice is the antidote to that experience.
What's the unique approach that you guys bring to the table?
So the unique approach, first of all, is our communication. I have to say, we respond to our emails, text. We are able to help our patients, move their appointments, and book them as soon as possible. So that's number one thing, that makes us unique.
Service.
Yes, we really care about our patients, and we know when someone reaches out, likely they are in pain and they need help right away. So we try to book them as soon as possible. Even sometimes we go out of our way and we book them on the weekends or after hours, so we can get them started. So that's number one. Number two, we are one-on-one physical therapy practice. So we spend 1 hour with the patient. treating them, help the patient, or in this case, the crew member or the captain, give them all the treatment that they cannot do on their own. Everything that like the exercises, the simple exercises, or even if it's more complicated, we teach them, and then we assign these exercises for them through a video exercise app. So you have a demo, like a demonstration of the exercises in the app, and we customize, of course, the program.
That's really good, because a lot of times you go to physical therapy, they show you, and then they send you home, and you totally forget once you're home. You're like, am I doing it right? What's it right, left? Yeah, exactly. So that's really good to know that the post-care, like your...
Marién, I want to also I want to touch on the insurance part briefly, because we are not anti-insurance. What we are out of network practice, meaning that we make our own rules. Like, we design the physical therapy session, okay? And if the insurance covers out of network, which actually, by the way, a lot of crew members have the international insurances, which works great. Yeah, we give them the invoice, and they were able to get the money back.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. That's a really good clarification. Thank you for that. Because sometimes when they say, and you did say it right, out of network doesn't mean that you're not potentially being able to reimburse.
No, we're not just cash practice. We basically give the session our standards are equal across the board, whether you have good insurance or no insurance.
Right.
And patients were able, based on their policy, or maybe they get the opportunity to reimburse their sessions with a self-claim.
And thank you for that. And going back to the unique approach of TheraCave, I want to touch on that, because what I have, read over and over about you and your team is that people get results immediately. Like on the first session, they get results. And I even sent a friend of mine to you, and she had a recent shoulder injury, and that's exactly what she told me after they left the clinic. She was like, oh my God, I got results immediately. And she was obviously not feeling pain anymore,
I want to give you an example from some real life example from some patients that we treat. And some people, for example, they have neck or shoulder pain. Okay. So, and then they go ahead and, book a massage session. Right. And then it helps them a little bit, but it did not help them far enough. Why? Because there is no diagnosis. We weren't able to diagnose the problem, whether it's a postural issue. Is it related also to mid-back? Is it also related to shoulder injury? So that's the key, the clinical expertise that we provide to our patients through our assessments and diagnosis. That's basically what creates a successful treatment plan. So we use different diagnostic tools, and I'm happy to talk about them. But the short answer to your question is the clinical assessment. Treat the immediate pain as well, but based on the diagnosis. How did it happen? Where it's coming from? What are the related areas to it?
Yeah.
And then the treatment becomes
because that's so true. A lot of the times people come with pain in one place, but actually the pain, that's the reflection of where it actually is. It's not even there. It's somewhere else where you don't even find pain.
And other patients will say oh, my pain switched from right to left and left to right. It's just to us, objectively, when we assess it, we already established that there is a problem with left and right. So the pain is not always an indicator of where is the problem.
Of the issue, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the most common injuries you see among yacht crew members?
So with yacht crew members, I have to say it's mostly spine. It's neck pain and low back pain.
How can these be prevented while still performing the duties effectively on board?
Okay, so a lot of people, so the short answer is stretching, but not all stretching is effective to help spine pain, because not all the pain is coming from muscles. And I'm going to introduce you here to my spine model. I like to call it spiny. Okay, so we have 4 areas of spine. Each of them have curvatures, natural curvatures. Okay, so cervical, purple, thoracic, blue, lumbar, the green, and the sacrum, which is fused with the pelvic bones. Okay, and we're not going to worry about that today. But if you are involved in bending activities over time, especially with the lower back, I'm going to talk about the neck as well. What happens is, and as you can see here, these are the discs, the intervertebral discs, that over time, with bending, it narrows the space in the front. So this is the front of the body, this is the back. Bending creates pressure on the disc and narrows the space in the front, creating a bulge of the disc towards the spine, or the nerve root in this case, which can pinch and create sciatica pain.
So subluxation.
It's not subluxation. No? I'm talking about disc bulge. Okay.
Oh, okay. So you're talking when the
disc herniation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. If we do an MRI for anyone random, they likely have a disc bulge. Is it symptomatic? That's the question. Because some people say, "Oh, I never had back pain, and suddenly it came. I didn't do anything. I didn't get any trauma. It wasn't a traumatic injury or anything like that. It wasn't an impact. It's just I was picking up something, and suddenly my back went into a spasm, and I couldn't move." And that is basically due to mechanical stress and the irritation that's happening from the disc. When that happens, all the muscles become spasmed around it to protect you and help and tell your body, you need to stop. What are you doing? Something has to change. Okay. So when you stretch this way, what are you creating? You're creating more of the problem. And that's why not all the stretching is meant for muscles. Some of the stretching are meant for joints to keep the balance and the pressure even on these discs. Okay. So how can we prevent these pains? Is by stretching in both directions. A lot of people just stretch by bending down and reaching. It's like, oh, I feel good. My back muscles are stretched. But what you created is you created more of the issue that you are having, which is increased pressure on the disc in the front side. Okay, so if you
when you mean stretching both ways, what does that look like? What does that mean?
Extension. It's like when you do Cobra. That is so needed. A lot of people don't do that. They just basically bend down or do a child's pose with ignoring completely the other range, which is bending backwards, extension. So the spine needs extension and flexion. A lot of people, I can talk more about this, but
and question. And what about the pain? What about the pain that it's because it's not that you are not stretching maybe properly, but although that could be it. But what about when you don't have the muscles are not strong enough?
Okay, so that's the role of rehabilitation. So rehabilitation will treat two components when it comes to your movement: mobility and stability. Okay, do you have core stability for your spine? Do you have good hips mobility? Do you have good hip stability as well? Like when you're walking and standing, do you have even muscle strength on each side? And that's what we address, like for long-term improvement. Right. Did I answer that question?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just kind of wondering, is there a way of knowing if my pain is coming from not stretching properly or because my muscles are not strong enough?
I would say mostly for men, a lot of men has hamstring shortening, like tight hamstrings. So when you try to bend and pick up something, like all the pressure goes into your back because there is no mobility coming from the hip. So you're not really hinging from the hip. You're not bending from the hips. You're bending more from the spine. Okay, so that is a problem when it comes to that. A lot of ladies don't have a strong core, so maybe the problem will be more stability in that case. So what you can do is just strengthen your core. Simple exercise example to that is doing a plank. And for hamstring stretching for gentlemen, you need to be lying down because if you try to do it from standing, you might actually create more irritation. So lie down and then try to lift the leg with a belt. And I'm happy to give like a set of exercises toward the end of this podcast, and so people can do them as a maintenance thing.
Okay. And can you tell us about we tend to think that physical therapy is pretty much you only get it when you have an injury, right? When you're hurt really badly and you can't move something and, or you had surgery or something, that's when you go see a physical therapist. Is that true, or can it be beneficial as a proactive measurement to maybe even prevent things or manage pain that you have?
Absolutely. So we do like a general movement assessment. And one example of that is be able to do a correct squat. And that tells a lot about your mobility and stability. Another movement that you're able to stand on one leg is similar to tree pose. If someone into yoga, are you able to keep your hips balanced? So, and then that gives an idea of what's going on. And we can proactively work with you on the two things that I just mentioned, mobility. There is mobility issues. We work on it during the sessions. And then stability, we teach you the exercises that helps your core, your glutes, your hips, and so forth, and so on. So definitely the answer is yes. Preventative care is very, very important. If you want to have a long career in the yacht industry, you should consider working on, and probably most people know what's going on. It's like, I have tight hamstring, I have weak core, I have maybe like an ankle issue that's creating a problem up the chain. So if you want to have a long career and be able to stay physically active, then definitely you should get a checkup, and then we help you, give you long-term results through an exercise program.
If you want to just relax, get a massage, if you actually want to manage your pain and get that relief and really just get to the root of the cause of the pain, then something like physical therapies.
Exactly. Like why your shoulders are getting tight all the time. And now we can help you get some relief during the session, but also will help you long-term by working on the root cause.
Exactly. So what are the top tips for spine health in yachting?
Okay, so like I mentioned before, and I'm not going to go over a lot of stretches because people know it through yoga or traditional stretching. I'm going to go like more of specialized stretching to keep your spine healthy, okay? So number one stretching I recommend is this, doing retraction and then also looking up, extension, okay? We're not just stretching muscles, like I said, we are maintaining the natural curvature of the neck spine. Okay, so this stretch helps to keep discs balanced and hydrated. So it's very, very important when you are involved in a lot of bending movements during the day. Next, I like this one a lot. Super simple, stretching the pec muscles through a door frame. There is no lack of door frames on the boat. You can always do this in 30 seconds. Take a moment, just stretch out your pec muscles through the door like this. This is the one I mentioned earlier, is the extension exercises. It's Cobra movement. It's so simple. Just do these like 10, 20 times per day, 10, 20 reps per day. That's what I'm asking for. It helps to maintain the spine curvature of the lumbar spine. Okay. All right. And this is for people who have tight hamstrings. So make sure you bring your hip to 90 degrees, and then you can straighten your knee upwards, and you hold that for 30 seconds. Twice or 3 times per day should be more than enough.
30 seconds, a lot of the legs will start.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So next, I want to talk about posture. Okay. So we want to make sure, like when you sit up straight. If you're looking at something, whether it's computer or your phone, make sure it's in your line of sight. Make sure your back is straight. How can you have your back straight? Make sure you have your hips, your glutes are all the way back in the back seat, and then you sit back. Make sure also your feet are touching the floor. They're not under the seat. So this way it keeps your spine straight. That's very, very important. Simple stuff. A lot of people actually get fatigued from trying to sit in straight posture. And that actually tells you something that you're not used to it and your body is resisting to it because it's out of your comfort zone. So try to create a new comfort zone by having a better posture. Lifting techniques. It's very, very important to like squat like this, or maybe half kneel as well. It's good for you versus going like this. Okay, so try
Which
to
is
use
like
your knees.
what a lot of people do. We just constantly forward bending,
Yes,
forward bending. Yeah.
exactly. And I gave you the exercises to overcome forward bending, but that's it in a nutshell. So yeah, those are the ones I recommend.
So how can we work with you and TheraCave if we are in the Port of Fort Lauderdale?
Okay, so there are two ways you can have sessions with us. You can have in office, in person, which is the preferred way, because we can deliver the 1 hour of manual therapy through dry needling, myofascial release, stretches, shockwave therapy. We do all our diagnostics, including ultrasound diagnostic, which gives you a scan of the injured area, and we're able to target the treatment with different techniques. There is another way also you can reach us. You can do a virtual session. And how can we...
That's amazing for us, because if we're not there, then we can still get support from you guys.
Exactly. So while you're on board or in a maybe different country and you need help to learn which exercises are right for you, do you need rest now or no? What's better for it, heat or cold therapy? So we can help you answer all these questions by learning about your condition. And we use our clinical expertise, to give you the best recommendation possible. And we give you a home exercise program better than going on YouTube and then scrolling through different random exercises.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you said that, because, we tend to do that, right? Like play doctor ourselves with Google and all that. And
Exactly.
it has a space for it. But a lot of the times when we don't know the root problem, then we do the wrong thing. And I want to give you an example, to everybody of something like that. I had a pain on my left knee on the outside of it. And I thought it was the knee. And then I went to somebody, like you, and they told me, well, it's not your knee. It's actually that your not the hamstring, the side muscle.
The IT band?
The IT band is too tight. Mm-hmm. Immediately, I started stretching it. Within a week, I had no more knee pain. And this is a typical example of, the pain's here. This is the issue. Stretching was the issue. But I would have never thought, oh, my knee pain is because a muscle is tight. I thought, oh my God, my knee's out of place. What is going on? So this is when
and then you go search Google, and then you think it's
they're
going to tell you it's a tumor, and you go into the hypochondriac loop of thoughts.
So please everybody do yourself a favor. You can get Hesham and his team online, which is amazing. I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing. And obviously, if you're in person, go in person. But if you're not, just get to them so you can get an assessment of what may possibly be going on with you, and they can help you, obviously, give you the support that you need, and the awareness.
The video call can help a lot, because we take a look at the movement and we communicate this way, and it actually gives a lot of information. And
because at the end of the day, we do also have to do the things you tell us to do, even though we don't get the results, right?
Exactly. So and we're able to give you the exercise based on what we see and then we get feedback, and we can upgrade or update the exercises as we go. And we can still help you get reimbursed through your insurance.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This was so helpful, very, very eye-opening, because, when you were showing us the exercise, they were very simple. But at the same time, those are the ones that get the results. We think that we need some big, big, crazy thing. Right. No, just, doing the right
really good point.
things. It's what's going to get you the results that we need. And at the end of the day, we need to take care of our bodies, because if we don't have our physical health, we just can't perform the job. So thank you again for serving us, serving the community, for sharing your knowledge with us. And everything that you need to know about Hesham and TheraCave and how to work with them is below the video. So click away, get your consultation, and get the results that you need. So thank you again for joining us. And
thank you for having me.